The Israel-Hamas battle in Gaza is creating chaos and panic. Biden backs Israel but sends Antony Blinken to try to avoid a humanitarian crisis. Trump is gagged and forced by court not to speak about his presidential campaign, about his January 6th indictment, and Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida rescues hundreds of Americans trapped in Israel. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. Also, check out my interview from earlier today with Jack Posobiec, where he lays out exactly what the Biden administration will do in order to get Gavin Newsom or Hillary Clinton elected a year from now. It's an interesting interview. Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine has requested the opportunity to come to Israel to show his support. However, the Israeli government has said, no, this timing is terrible. Please do not come to Israel. So Zelensky is worried about not getting enough attention and funding from the United States, while at the same time, Israel has said, don't come to the country. Don't try to use our situation to enrich yourself or your country. Now is not a great time. Billionaires that donate close to $500 million to Ivy League schools have announced they are pulling money from these universities for choosing not to shut down anti-Semitic and anti-Israel protests on their campus. Schools like Harvard, Yale, and UPenn from billionaires like Ken Griffin, John Huntsman Jr., and Bill Ackman. In fact, they've gone so far as to gather all the names of the alumni and blacklisted them from ever working on Wall Street. Now, according to the White House and the Pentagon, around 2,000 U.S. military personnel based both inside and outside of the Middle East could be deployed this week to Israel to assist with the conflict with Hamas. Their role would be most likely an advisory service or medical assistance in the area. The United States has demonstrated its backing of Israel's army endeavor by sending a second aircraft carrier to the Eastern Mediterranean, aiming to discourage hostile actions, mostly in Lebanon and also in Iran. This move can also have the ability to deter and discourage outsized entities in other Arab nations from getting involved in the conflict. Now, sadly, the total casualties from the ongoing battle have reached 4,150 as of the recording of this video. 1,400 Israelis and 2,750 individuals in Gaza have lost their lives, and many thousands more have sustained injuries. The hospitals are overwhelmed, and the people are scared. Iran's foreign minister, Nassar Kanani, recently mentioned that Hamas is open to releasing hostages as a way of stopping the ongoing bombardment of the Gaza Strip. However, this humanitarian effort is being hampered by the ongoing Israeli strikes. Now, to provide some context, Hamas had previously taken 199 hostages during their attack on Israel, leading to international outcry and Israelis' counterattack plan and this prepared ground attack that we will see. Now, this invasion has also led to increased suspicion of Iran's involvement due to their past support of Hamas. Notably, Iran has issued a warning that they might become directly involved in the conflict if Israel launches the ground offense in Gaza. Now, right now, they've just been hitting with their jets and helicopters and their ground missiles. Additionally, the Lebanon-based terrorist group Hezbollah has already fired missiles into Israel, warning them to stay out of Gaza, and there has been returned fire. This situation remains extremely complex and tense, and there is back channels between dozens of countries right now trying to avoid World War III and further escalation. On the one hand, people say Israel is entitled to blood because of their attack. On the other hand, they're saying, wait a minute, this could get completely out of control. Now, Israeli arms have made huge attacks on the secret underground bases in in Gaza that Hamas used to bring to go into Israel for their attacks on the north and to receive illegal contraband through Egypt on the south. So there's basically miles and miles of these underground tunnels. Now, Israel hasn't really done a sweep of Gaza since around 2007, according to what I could read on the internet. So they were completely unaware of these underground tunnels. Now, Israel has cut off food, water, electricity, and internet to most of Gaza. They are trying to force the people south down to Egypt. However, the Egyptian government, Egypt is completely reluctant to allow people from Gaza to enter Egypt because they say they can't tell the difference between scared citizens and Hamas terrorists. Now, this is really interesting because Egypt, according to world standards, is considered an Arab nation. So why don't they want to allow Arabs into their country? Again, they are terrified that they're going to allow a bunch of Hamas terrorists to come in, and that could escalate the hunt down of these people in Egypt. It could also lead to attacks in Egypt. So Egypt is very, very nervous to get involved in the situation. The country of China has announced that Israel has gone beyond self-defense and is on the verge of war crimes for invading a neighbor. Basically, they're saying, we know you live by the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, but you've now gone after both eyes and all their teeth. So be careful, they're saying, in the way that you make this attack. Israel has wiped out several top Hamas leaders, according to news sources, by launching missiles and rockets into buildings within Gaza. They first cleared the area, found out where the leaders were, and targeted those specific areas and buildings. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in Israel for a second time to work hand in hand with Benjamin Netanyahu to ensure this doesn't become a humanitarian crisis. However, some say it already is. Israel feels it's been benevolent by giving a warning to Gazans to head south, while other Arab nations say Gazans are trapped like rats with nowhere to run. So it just really depends on how you're looking at this, but either way, dozens of nations are worried that this could escalate into something horrific. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis stepped up to the plate and made a bold move to rescue more than 260 Americans who found themselves stranded in Israel and wanted out. He didn't hold back on his criticism of what he saw as a lack of strong leadership from the Biden administration. Amidst the chaos and turmoil, major airlines had temporarily halted their flights due to the conflict in the region. That's when Florida's governor swooped in and offered free transportation for those Americans who wanted out of Israel immediately. Given Florida's sizable Jewish population, the state teamed up with Project Dynamo for this daring rescue mission. It was a proactive move to bring citizens back to the United States and lend a helping hand while they were in the country of Israel. President Joe Biden's 2024 campaign has done something quite unexpected. They hopped on board Donald Trump's Truth Social platform. It's almost like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. And they've got some ongoing feuds going on over there as they try to let them know, hey, we're willing to play ball. Now, this isn't the first time the Biden team has made fun of conservatives online. They've got a knack for using their messaging and online spaces for a good-natured ribbing. But they've also at other times been very verbally abusive towards Trump supporters. And so they're trying to find the right balance between mocking them and being mean to them. Now, of course, it's not all jokes and games. Biden's campaign has pointed fingers at the Trump administration, holding them partly responsible for the inflation that we're all dealing with. Of course, they don't want to take any of the blame. And during the Trump administration, they did spend over $7 trillion. So both parties, in order to get through COVID, have spent ridiculous amounts of money in order to stabilize the United States of America. Now, here's the real kicker. Despite Trump facing multiple indictments and criminal charges, he's still leading in the Republican campaigns. Now, it's like deja vu all over again. We are most likely going to see a Donald Trump versus Joe Biden 2024 campaign. Although, go listen to that interview I did earlier today with Jack Posobiec. He lays out some pretty interesting evidence for why we could see Hillary Clinton and Gavin Newsom jump into the Democrat race. Now, picture this. Federal prosecutors and lawyers for Donald Trump are telling him that he's been shut down legally. He was just given a gag order from Judge Tanya Chutkan, not an actual cloth in his mouth, but basically telling Trump, no more fiery language. You can't discuss anything to do with your election interference case, which people are saying is election interference. You're basically gagging somebody that's running for president from talking about what's going on in his life and in his campaign. Now, there's just so much going on right now. Tether, a stablecoin crypto, is working with Israel and Ukraine to shut down terrorists who are using the crypto networks in order to trade money anonymously. And so far, they've been able to freeze about $835 million worth of crypto on their platform. Now, before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. There's so much going on. Thank you for allowing me to update you on the crazy, crazy times that we live in. Before you go, please give this video a like. Hit that subscribe button. We're almost to 1.4 million subscribers. For a small network, this is insane. And you're the one that I want to thank. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, check out that interview from earlier today and also check out this video. Thanks so much, and I will see you on the next video.